Welcome to Renovation Conversations, the podcast where we explore how God is rebuilding lives, restoring hope, and renewing faith. Whether you're just starting your spiritual journey or looking for inspiration to keep growing, this is the place for honest discussions, transformative stories, and practical biblical insights. Let's dive into what it means to live a life under renovation, because God's not done with us yet.
All right. Well, welcome to this week's episode of Renovation Conversations. We didn't stop for the pre-drink. We normally get a drink right before we start. We didn't do that. So now we're going to be probably choking and coughing. And
at least I won't be burping into the mic.
That's true. We appreciate that.
That's pre-show. We do all that stuff.
All that's out of the way before we ever start this. So Pastor Hayden Dennis over there, and I'm Pastor D, and we're going to talk about thankfulness.
Yeah.
It's that time of year.
Yeah, it is that time of year.
I really do love the succession of our holidays that we celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
The thankfulness leading into the celebration of Christ's birth. And because for me, more than ever now, for sure, it's been a progression for me growing. But just watching it, how the importance of that thankfulness helps me appreciate the birth of my risen Savior. You know? More and more, and I loved yesterday. Yesterday was a great day. We had a great service at our Mansfield campus. Norwood had a great service. Pastor Tucker had just come back from Aurora, Illinois.
Yeah,
and he had quite the adventure up there at a conference. But he came back, shared the truth, and had a great service. Lots of new faces up there. He said.
That's what he said. Had several new families. That's awesome. And I seen on Facebook, a couple people said he had a good message. So
hey, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I
trust him better than if he told me he had a good message.
100%. So. Nothing personal, Pastor Tucker.
Nah, he don't listen to this anyways. We can say what we want.
We talk all we want. We can talk about his balding head and everything.
Yep.
And but yesterday was a good day because we had our regular church services, but we also had our community church. We have 3 times a year we pull together all the churches in the area that will come. I mean, not all of them will come, but some of them. We pull all the Bible-believing churches together so the body can be together. And we just we rotate around from church to church, and then we rotate pastors. Never have the same pastor as the church, is the rule of thumb on that. And so we just finished a 3-year rotation on this one, but it was my turn to preach. So I got to preach, and I was at the Cowboy Church, which you can, if you know me, I'm very much cowboy.
Oh yeah, you are very cowboy.
I'm probably as far from a cowboy as you can.
Yeah,
maybe not as far as you can get, but I'm pretty far.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely
North
not
Springfield.
A cowboy. But no, it was a good night. It was a really good turnout because they can seat a lot. I mean, it's a very big building and
beautiful building. By the way.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people there. I was kind of encouraged.
Yes.
At first, it seemed like there wasn't, but then you started looking around. How everybody does, they spread out and they sat with their own churches. And that's okay.
That's what we get that on Wednesday night in your adult class.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, so you can't tell me there are.
Yeah, I got about 50 or 60, and they sat in every corner, back corner. Somebody sat against the chairs against the wall. Man. But yeah, I don't know why people like to spread out, but there was a good crowd there, and it was a good group of people.
It was, and it was the music was fantastic. I always tease Pastor John over there. He and I tease about our churches because we're the 2 unique churches in the area.
Right.
We're very I guess not traditional.
Right.
I guess is the way we'd say because they're a cowboy church, and we're non-denominational because we don't. Not that we don't agree with denominations, the ones in town, but we just didn't feel like we were supposed to be any specific denomination. Yeah. So we both have a very unique congregation, but I love it.
Yeah, it come together. It was a good service. You were and Job, and then I heard that him and Pastor Jerry preached the identical Jerry. Sermon. So I was teasing both. Well, I didn't get to tease Jerry. I would have though.
Yes,
but I teased them that they both use the same AI program to build their sermons. We got proof now, but no, it was a good and because you think about Job, going back to your message last night there at the Cowboy Church.
Yeah,
man. Job was thankful, and how in the world could a person be? You just read just that little part you read.
Not even into chapter 2, just chapter 1.
Yeah, you're not even getting to where his wife's mean to him. Also, right? I mean, and and here he was thankful to literally fall to his knees and praise the Lord.
And I think, I started with that down there. I started at verse 20 because I wanted to get the results on their brain before they thought about how he got to that. Like, because I think sometimes we start, and there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, you want to read the Bible in succession. You get the storyline. But I think sometimes, because last night when we do community church services, one thing I like about it is that typically we do have very dedicated church-going Christians.
Right.
I do wish we had more people there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we are growing. It is getting bigger, so we are getting more people coming.
Yeah.
But they're typically the ones that are there are the people that they're in the Word.
Yes.
And so, when I started that, I was praying about how God wanted me to do it. And I was spending my whole afternoon just mulling over and thinking through it. And first of all, I got to the point where for a couple of hours, I sit there just thinking about how would I handle that. And I'll be honest with you, it kind of tore me down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it reminded me of how quick I could fail.
Yeah. Well, and not just that, looking at that story in Job, we have to remember, and that goes back to being thankful. We have to remember how fast all this can be gone.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we've had tragedy after tragedy here in this county, in this area, in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Multiple deaths, hurting situations.
Car wrecks that have taken lives, and it's so crazy. We think that Job moment, like you said last night, I like what you said, that this is a true story. I believe that too. I don't believe this is poetical. I believe this is a true story that is told about a man. And even, I don't care. I mean, I guess if it is poetical, whatever. But either way, to me, it shows all this can be taken away from us so fast.
Yes.
And how are you going to respond? Mm-hmm. Because, Job responded with thankfulness. A giant fly. Awesome. Man, we gotta do something. It's winter.
This weather, you still have one fly that's surviving.
He's still living, but watching him go through what he went through and still being thankful.
Yeah.
And it's funny how all these sermons, I preached at Norwood now 2 weeks ago, and it was a lot about gratitude.
Yeah.
How that can just totally change your whole life if you live in a gratitude state more than the anxiety and it's funny how God just starts rolling stuff together, coming into these seasons. But, as you sat there preaching about Job last night, and I was looking at all that stuff that he lost so fast.
Oh, I don't even know what I would look like in that.
No, I don't. But I got thinking that can happen to any of us.
In a
that
heartbeat.
fast. Yeah. And it has happened to families here recently that fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Loved ones have just, went out basically for a drive, and that's it. I read that obituary today of that little kid in Kabul. He was just a normal kid. He jumped on his four-wheeler to run down to help a neighbor, wrecked it, and that was it.
Yeah.
And in the obituary, he said he was an absolute believer. He loved Jesus, and they're like, he's in the arms of Jesus now, and we know that, but still.
Yeah.
And honestly, reading that obituary to me is a very thankful. It's pretty amazing. I don't know if you read it.
I haven't read his.
Tara sent it to me. Somebody from church posted it, I think. Or
that's encouraging when you hear the truth of that.
It was very encouraging to me because they were giving thanks for his life.
Yeah.
And being thankful that he was a believer.
You know what I find interesting about him and then the other one? So you got two spectrums. Mm-hmm. So you have Mona's dad. Mm-hmm. Which Mona and I we worked together for years. And it was funny. I knew her before I ever came out here.
Yeah.
Great lady, great friend to my wife and I. And then we moved out here, and I met her dad. First time I ever met him, he had cows out, and I stopped on the side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
And you know me, I'm city boy. Like, hey, can I help you get your cows in? And his look at me was like, you can try. Sure. You can try to help me. But he was such a sincere man. But he was an elderly man. Mm-hmm. He lived a long life.
Yeah.
So you had a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And an elderly man. Mm-hmm. But the thing that they had in common is they both loved Jesus.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think about that. I think these families that are having to deal with this and the community that's having to work through this, they're having a Job moment right here.
Yeah, they are.
And it's hard to look at that because we know family and friends of all these people. I mean, you can't not in small towns.
Yeah, and then the wreck yesterday, we know family and friends of that gentleman.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean.
Absolutely.
Like, there's so many people going through a moment just like what you was preaching last night. And it's just to see how he had still praised God through it.
Yeah.
And still had thankfulness, even though basically everything had been taken away. I don't know if I'd be there.
I would hope I would now, but I don't know. I want to say that I would, but I don't.
I'm as close as I probably have ever been.
Yeah, I get that's what I'd have to say too.
To possibly be in there, but that would probably be after a lot of anger.
Yeah,
that I know God can handle.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, like if I lost a son on a 4-wheeler wreck, there would probably be some anger first.
Sure,
but then I hope I would get to where Job went.
Yeah. And then it didn't end there for Job, though.
No,
I mean, I didn't even get into all the friends that, and the wife,
and the wife
that just tell him, it's not worth it.
Just go kill yourself.
The Lord just left you, and it was just what the world does. And even if they don't know they're doing it, it's what the world does.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to read the beginning of what I talked about, because it talks at verse 20 in Job, in chapter 1. It says, "Then Job arose and tore his robe and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and worshipped. He said, 'Naked I came in from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.'" But verse 22 is what blew my mind as I read it again. I've read it multiple times, but maybe it hit me harder this time than ever before. "Through all this, Job did not sin, nor did he blame God."
Right.
What's the first thing we probably do?
Oh, yeah.
God, why did you?
Why did you let this happen?
And
I guarantee it, if I was in probably the situation, half the family around me, and I figured they had the "God, why did you?" I know they probably had it too, and that's okay. That's hard not to have that, but man, if we could ever get to this point, it's a pretty amazing statement that he made there after what he's been through there.
Yeah, I mean, by that point in time, he had lost. Well, just going in order, like he lost 500 oxen, 500 donkeys, all of those servants taking care of those animals.
Yeah.
He lost 7,000 sheep and all those servants, which, you know how many servants it takes to take care of 7,000 sheep?
A lot.
I mean, it takes a lot.
Sheep are stupid.
They are. And 3,000 camels and all the servants that had to take care of those. So there's a lot of people doing that stuff. And then after all of that is gone, so everything that brings you money and finances, it's all gone. And everybody, all these servants that you love, because he loved them, you care for them. Job's clearly got a good heart. And so he's taking care of these people. He's loving these people, and they're working together, doing this stuff. And clearly he's got a heart for the Lord. So he's doing his ministry and probably sharing the gospel truth with all of these servants. And then his children, his 7 sons and his 3 daughters, 10 children gone.
Yeah. Yep.
Just gone.
And that's where you got to right there. And he tore his robe and shaved his head. So basically you can say he's in mourning.
He's in utter mourning.
He's in absolute just dismay. Like, doesn't know what to do. Like, I mean, you think about tearing the robes and all that, and that's what that is, it's just that and we read that a lot, they rent their clothes or tear their clothes. And I took that to back when London played basketball, he was really bad about ripping his jersey, and I get so mad at him.
Yeah.
But, and that's what it is. It's literally that you're in such anguish. You got to do something.
You have to do something.
Yeah. And,
but in that same token, people knew it. Like, they could see you and
it was an outside.
There's something going on.
There's something wrong. And, I've seen here, it talked about, Joseph, when he was in the pit, it says the same thing. He rent his clothes. He ripped his clothes when his brothers threw him in the pit. And then in Joshua, it also says that Joshua rent his clothes and fell upon the earth in his face before the ark of the Lord. And, so it's literally just that you're in an unbelievable moment, and that's all you can do. And that's where, to me, that right there is the part where I said, I know I would probably at first be like angry, possible. You know what I'm saying?
The whys.
Yes, the whys. Why, God? Why did this happen? I don't have to shave my head. I already do that, so I'm already ahead on that part.
Head of the game.
Your bald head just didn't fly last night. I don't know why.
Which is a shame, because there's several bald men in that.
There
room.
was. I was agreeing with you, but
there were several old men that didn't have any hair like us.
Yeah. I don't know. You didn't get the love on that I thought you might get. But even at that, so let's say that the tearing the robe, shaving his head, that's that why, God, why? But look exactly what he said in the same sentence, and he fell to the ground and worshipped.
Yeah.
And once again, I hope I would be there.
And I'm thinking at that moment in time, when I read he fell,
right,
like that hit me different yesterday, I guess maybe than it ever had before. Because I think he was emotionally exhausted. It doesn't say he knelt in prayer.
Yeah, right.
That he went to the altar in prayer. It says he fell to the ground. Like he was emotionally, he gave everything he had, and he had nothing left. So what did he do? he fell, exhausted, emotionally, physically, whatever. And instead of just crying out, he worshiped. That's like next level.
Yes, that is next level. And to fall down, and like you said, I think it was probably just he's in such grief and such agony, and and I mean, who's been there? I mean, we've all probably had, not quite maybe the moment he's been, but we've all had those moments. You talked about Sunday about Shayna's cancer and what you guys went through there, but we all had those moments where there's really nothing left to do but fall and just it's all yours. Like, but then it's just part of that. I don't know, just trying to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, you look at Job. Like the numbers that I gave you were from the very beginning when it talks about what all he owns. Yeah. I'm like, the guy literally lost everything. He lost his family, lost his it's him and his wife, and what friends he has.
And she's
in the area.
Not very nice.
And she's not very nice. And honestly, she's probably not handling it
right
like Job is handling it, clearly. So I'm thinking, where do you go at? Like this is a great example of where do you go when you have nothing?
Yeah.
Because he has nothing now. It isn't like he can be like, hey, I need to call the insurance company.
Yeah.
There's no insurance company.
No.
You go and tell everybody, hey, I had all this, and they say, okay, sorry.
That he thought was important to him was instantly taken away.
Yes.
Everything. And then yet he can fall and worship still.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that whole thing about being thankful. And I honestly think it comes from, you've talked about it in one of the sermons. I don't remember which one. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I think we both hit on it a couple times here lately. It all comes from a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
About being thankful for what you have. Because I take it back to when I was teaching about prayer. And if you truly pray, and if you do it like a few order, if you try to have some order to it, and you start with maybe thankfulness, by the time you thanking for everything you need or that you have, the stuff you thought you needed. Because I mean, my prayers was 99% what I needed from the start.
Sure.
But once I started being thankful for everything, it changes everything.
Yes.
Like, I was always a person that wanted to buy everything I ever thought that would make me happy until I figured out what would make me happy.
Had nothing to do with money.
No.
Yeah.
But I was trying to with money.
Yes. You knew there was a void. How do I fill it?
Right. And so it's the same thing to me. Once I started being thankful for everything I had, the stuff I thought I needed, I don't need those.
Yeah. I will say, as being a pastor, it hits different.
Yeah. But that mindset is what Job is in, clearly, to go immediately to where he went.
Yeah.
He had to be walking a life of thankfulness to start this.
It wasn't about, oh, look at what I have. And when I say being a pastor hits different, for me personally, I have gained a different friend circle than I've ever had before. Before when I lived just my normal life, and I was Christian, but I was very secular in a lot of things. Like, there was almost a world Dustin and a church Dustin.
Right.
and not that world Dustin was terrible all the time.
Right.
But there was a difference. And once I got past that and started being different, and I'm just walking differently with whatever the Lord had for me, I found myself with different, and now as pastoring, even more so, you see friends that have a lot of stuff, and you have friends that have nothing.
Right.
And what's crazy is sometimes you see your friends that have nothing, and they're happier than the ones that have the most.
Seems like sometimes when you have more, it ties you down more.
It can.
Yeah.
But what is amazing to me is I know, and we have great Christian friends, both of us do, on both ends of that spectrum. And not that the ones that don't have anything wouldn't love to have more, but they wouldn't give it up for their walk.
Right.
And so the other ones that have stuff, and I love this because there's a difference between having stuff and having stuff as a Christian.
Yes.
Because whenever you're walking in a certain place in life, financially, and you're just living well, and you're well to do, and you have most everything you could ever ask for, and it doesn't hold as much value to you. You could let it go, and it wouldn't be a big deal.
Right.
Like, it could go away, and it's okay. And I love watching people get to that point. The other side's almost easier to get to.
Right.
When you're the poorer one. But when you watch other people that are wealthy, all of a sudden the wealth doesn't matter like it used to.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to watch them get to be on the same playing field it's because the Lord brings them together.
Yes.
And it's no longer about this is what I have or this is what I don't have. It's about the Lord has got me, no matter what. The Lord's got me.
And when I think it's that whole mindset that you understand that that's the most important thing.
Yes.
not stature or appearance in the world or whatever. Once you realize that without him, you have nothing anyways. So you better be grateful for what you have. It's a whole different lifestyle. And it's a whole different, and to me, that's the only way when these times happen, because I'm going to say it, they happen to all of us at some point.
Sure.
I mean, we're going to have times, maybe not to the extent of his, but some will.
Some will have absolutely that kind of thing.
Yeah, and some have that we know personally. And so to me, to get there, it takes a constant life of thanksgiving and gratitude for what you have, even if it's little or even if it's a lot. It's just such a different mind shift to get there. And I don't know. I know I've worked on that for the last several years, and I'm still not even close to being there.
Right.
But it's a constant, to me, it's a constant work towards that because it's huge.
It is huge. And here's what I think is funny is you see when Job arose and tore his robe and shaved his head and he fell to the ground and worshiped. He didn't go grab friends. He didn't grab his wife. He didn't grab anybody. He knew the first thing.
He does that later, and it doesn't go well.
He does. And very few are on his side.
Yes.
And honestly, they don't understand it.
No.
You can tell that in their language and what they're saying. But you see that he knew the only place he could go that could possibly be okay in this moment is God. And I think that's when we need to realize, what do we see nowadays? We see people, if this was happened, sadly what we'd see in a lot of people's world is they'd go straight to social media.
Yes.
Wouldn't even have time to grieve and process it. They'd go straight to social media blasting somebody or just woe is me. Instead, he goes, his social media would have been grabbing other people and telling them how bad it was.
Yes.
But instead he said, I need to go to God.
Right.
I'm exhausted. I got nothing left.
Yeah.
But I have God no matter what. And I'm thinking like that is the example of thankfulness. That's when it's not about Thanksgiving dinner and all these things. That's the blessing we get to walk through.
Yeah,
for some.
That's great things. But
walking through life with this kind of thankfulness, I don't think there's anything wrong with when your life's falling apart, falling on the ground and praying. I think that should be a pretty good.
It's probably should be our first thing to do. Because once again, like he said, we came into this world with nothing and we're leaving with nothing. And the only thing that matters is him in your life. Giving your life to him or, living a life for Jesus. That's the only thing that matters. So to me, that's what he's saying there, that he came into the world with nothing. And he's going to leave with nothing, even though, the Lord's taken all away. And so to me, once you get to that, it's a totally different mindset. Yeah. That he's enough. And that you're thankful for what you do have, you can start acting like this. It's just such a different life. And
let's go back to, we haven't even talked about the purpose of why it's all gone.
Yeah.
Satan said, well, Job, what about your servant Job?
What about him?
So this is a direct attack from Satan.
Yes.
That God allowed to happen for the purpose of showing what, in my mind, when I look at this is showing the power of a faithful person. That it isn't about relationships first. It isn't about all these things. It's about Jesus and me. It's about God and me. And nothing can come between that. Yeah. My friendship with you cannot. Right. And I love hanging out with you. We do life together. We're around each other a lot. But even in that, my relationship with God's first. With my own wife, God's first. Yes. With my children, God's first. Which is sometimes hard. Yes. Because it's easy to be like, elevate your wife and your children, or maybe if you're a woman listening to this, your husband and your children, or if you're single, elevating things, friends.
But there's a whole order there that works better. Oh, and God's first. But then even after that, your spouse needs to be second. We'll talk about that in marriage, but because a lot of times those kids get elevated above the spouse, and then like me and Tara right now, the kids are gone. Yes, it's just us. So.
And so there has to be. And clearly, we talk about that. We know it says love ourselves as others like love ourselves. If you're putting God in the relationship where you're supposed to be, then you're going to naturally put yourself where you need to be. Yep. But I don't think that people realize that. So I think that's putting yourself in the right spot if you love the Lord like you're supposed to. Yeah. But Satan really literally attacked this man.
Yeah. And it says there in verse 7, where did you come from? The Lord said to Satan. And so the Lord here is talking to Satan. Where'd you come from? He's like coming to and fro, walking around on the earth, And I think that's something we got to remember, is he's still doing the latter half of 7.
Yeah. And he didn't stop.
And that's what I mean. Like, I just want to be real with people who did, who's he talking to the rest of his time? Satan is talking to Job, one of God's people. Yeah. So, we have to be on alert. Like, the enemy, even though we're born again Christians, the enemy can still try to do things to us. Doesn't, it's not going to change our salvation, not going to do this. But, just like on Job, I mean, the enemy can, try to make things hard on us if we allow that stuff in our lives.
Yeah.
And that's, he's still walking to and fro on the earth,
And he wants to do exactly what he did with Job.
Yeah. That's why these stories are in here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have these stories in the Bible. They're such, it's different people, different time, but everything's the same. It's the same issues back then they deal with, we deal with. There's different avenues, different ways, but it's still the same.
A few different tools out there, but
it's still the same things.
Yes. And so for me, when I look at that, I'm like, what's something we need to pull from this that we can walk out and show? So for me, obviously, I need to be thankful for the blood that washes over me, that protects me, the blood of Christ.
Yeah.
Because this is a great example for me and you in our life and everybody watching this. Satan can attack everything around us, but if we have Christ,
right, he
can't get in you.
No.
He can't be inside you. He can't own you. He may destroy your car. He may try to destroy your home. He may try to destroy your
relationships.
Children.
I mean, you never know.
And he can destroy a marriage if the spouse isn't in the right walk either. But that doesn't mean that you have to be anything but faithful to Jesus, which is hard to do because not everybody follows suit like a believer should.
Yeah. No, we leave, and once again, being this Thanksgiving season, it's a huge, when you start living that, being thankful for that in your life.
Yeah.
That's when, for me personally, that's when all the material stuff started changing that I thought I needed. That's when our relationship changed, me and my wife's, when I went all in and realized he is all I need first. And if I get that right, everything else starts kind of going in a better direction.
Yeah.
Loving your wife and treating your wife the way you should and all that. It just works better when you realize that you are covered by that, and that's mainly what you need.
Yeah.
It's what you came in, and that's all you're going to have when you leave this earth.
That's all you have.
That's it.
But it's all you need.
Yes.
So I mean, clearly there's so many lessons inside of this for us. But, I think even the strongest Christian has to step back and say, where am I at right now? And I love that because I actually got to pray with a few people that night of the community church service. And I love the response when they do that. We do an altar call every time you and I preach.
Yeah, it was good.
We always do. So when they asked if we were going to do one, I said, absolutely. And the response was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love it because who better to be at the altar than the one that believes?
Yeah.
I mean, the one that knows Jesus. I mean, we always have something to pray for.
Absolutely. Or give thanks for.
Or give praise. And thanks for.
Yeah, just be thankful for your salvation. Be thankful for him creating this beautiful thing we get to walk around on. I mean, there's so much.
He's given us more blessings than we ever deserve.
Yeah, and you start, even, if you have nothing per se wrong or bad happening right now, the altar is the first place we should be giving thanks for everything that's good.
Yeah.
Because there is going to be times where it's bad. And so in those good times, we should continue to talk to him, like any father would want.
Absolutely.
We don't only want our kids to talk to us when everything bad's happening. Yeah. It's a lot more fun to talk to your kids when things are good.
Oh, absolutely.
And so why would our relationship with him be any different?
Right.
But we don't treat it that way.
No, we treat it like a fire insurance policy.
Yes.
Like, something's going wrong. House on fire. I need help.
My life is going completely upside down. Let's talk.
Yes.
But we need to get to understand that he wants to talk all the time.
Absolutely. And I shared this, I threw this out there, that thankfulness cannot be dependent on our circumstances. I think sometimes we let it be.
Yeah.
We let our thankfulness for the things we have and have access to and have in our life be dependent on the circumstances we're going through, whether he's blessing us or he's not blessing us. And man, that just shows how wish-washy we are. But in reality, it should be a chance for us to absolutely glorify God. Giving that praise and thankfulness and that gratitude, even in the hard times.
Yeah,
I had to learn that. It wasn't easy for me. I struggle with that when I shared a little bit about Shayna's cancer and all that stuff. People in our church know about it. That's I don't like to use other people's testimonies. I got enough chaos that has happened in my life that Shane and I walk through that we share with our church. But the reality is we all go through stuff. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we like to sweep it under the rug. Sometimes we like to pretend it's not us. It's or it's not as big a deal as somebody else's, so it's not a big deal. If it's, everything's a big deal.
Right.
It's just how are you going to acknowledge it? Mm-hmm. Are you going to pretend like it's nothing, or are you going to talk to God about it?
But like you said, once you start living that different life, the bad stuff, if you're living truly thankful for everything you have in this moment that you're in, when the bad stuff hits, yes, it's still bad. Yeah. But to me, it seems like that first punch of the bad doesn't last as long as it used to. Or maybe that's just me, but I don't live in it very long now.
Well, you have the comfort of the Holy Spirit to walk you through it. Once you learn how to just rest in that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's that whole change of that lifestyle, why it's so worth it, because we're still going to get punched in the gut from time to time, just like 100%. Job. But that first reaction may be a tough reaction, but starting to walk with other believers, reaching out for prayer, and all of a sudden situations just start changing. Yeah. The situation may not change, but your perspective changes. I'll put it that way. Sometimes the situation changes, but sometimes it's just your perspective changes and you realize it's not that bad.
And we're going to make it. Preparing you for another season.
Yeah. We're going to make it. The worst thing that'll happen is we'll end up in heaven. Like, that's the worst thing.
And for me, I'm like, that's the biggest box checks ever. Check that box. I want that box checked. But until that day, I want to be able to glorify him. Right. And it's hard sometimes. Yeah. Because we are so fleshly, so human. Yes. But we accept that to a fault. Yeah. Like sometimes we're just okay with being sinful. Yeah. So when I read that verse 22, when it talks about Job and all the through all this, Job did not sin, nor did he blame God. I mean, that blows my mind. And in a good way. Like not like no way I could ever be like Job. I want to be blameless and sinless like Job was in this. I want to look at God and say, God, I know that you don't have anything bad against me. You have nothing but good. And I'm sure Job had to dig deep for that, but he did. He got there. Yeah. No, and it's amazing because, like you said, that's huge that through all this, all these things that went on, that's what it says, that he just totally gave it all over to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We could look at that. There's tons of way people cope with trauma. 100%.
And some of it is not healthy at all. Oh, and some of it we would call a sin.
Yeah, some of it takes you further the wrong way.
Exactly. Yeah. So, to me, he literally just totally 100% relied on the Lord, because that's the only way through a situation like that. You're not going to curse at the Lord. You're not going to look towards, some way to cope that is not healthy for you, or, all these things. And I think that's to me, it just shows his eyes were totally focused on the Lord.
Yeah. Well, to me, I'm looking at him, I'm thinking Job knew that he had no solution, but he knew who did. Yes. And if the solution was that he was the next to go, I think Job's heart would have been okay with that.
I figured at that moment he would have been perfectly fine with that.
And probably thought that was coming.
Yes.
I mean, if you have all those things happen, I mean, he was attacked and they had his stuff taken. I mean, it wasn't like they just died. No. Like, if you go down through here, it's attacked and took and killed and slew. And, all these words are very vicious words. Yes. Because Satan is behind all these things. Right. I'm like, he's probably thinking, Lord, just take me.
Yes. Yeah. But
I mean, want to be with my 10 children.
Yeah. And you look, at what all happened. And I like what you said there. You got to understand that this is all done by Satan.
Oh, yeah.
His whole goal is to kill, steal, and destroy. What did he do to Job? He killed, steal, and destroyed. A lot of people will take this and be like, look what God let happen to Job, which he did. He allowed Satan to do it. But who did it?
Do not touch my servant Job.
Yeah, but who did it? Satan.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a very important point, because I've heard people argue this. But, Satan is the one. He is sent to kill, steal, and destroy. Yeah. And that is his whole job since day one. Well, since he made his choosing.
100%. Yeah.
And that goes back to, he hates us because we have what used to be his. Yeah. This was all his, and he gave it up, and now it was given to Adam, we're extensions of that. So he's angry that this is all, ours now. So he's going to kill, steal, and destroy until his time runs out.
Because he knows.
He knows what he knows. His time
want to acknowledge it.
Yeah, he knows his time is running out. He doesn't know when it's out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does know it's running out. So he, we look at that's exactly what happens to us a lot of times. Stuff we think, man, why is God allowing this to happen? Well, maybe it is God allowing it, but we got to remember who is the one probably doing the attacking, and Satan.
Yeah.
And that whole realm, it's still active. It's still working.
It's not against people.
No,
not at all.
Yeah.
It's not even against the ones that attacked his family and killed them. It's not against the ones that stole and killed his animals. Mm-hmm. But it's literally against the enemy who convinced.
Yep.
So when you're under attack or you're under persecution, it's not against the one that's persecuting you or attacking you. It's literally Satan has convinced them.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow. Which is why he tells us to love our enemies.
Yeah.
Because while they may be doing enemy things, we're supposed to love them. Now, that doesn't mean we love Satan.
Right.
We love the ones that are bringing the persecution against us in the action. But we don't hate them for their actions because we know that they're not in control of that at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
Yeah, very hard. A lot of people definitely want to strike out back in anger.
Yes.
And that's not necessarily the right thing to do.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's hard to get people to understand that and buy into the truth of that.
Yeah. And then the other sermon on Sunday was also about thankfulness. Use it Hannah's prayer, right?
Yeah, Sunday morning.
Yeah. It was a long day, I know.
I was like, okay, let's keep strolling back. Yeah, I was in 1 Samuel, too.
Yeah, I thought that come together nicely, too, there in Samuel. I had read that, obviously, but not really put a lot of thought into it about, even though it's called Hannah's Song of Thanksgiving.
Right. Very similar to Mary's song.
Yes.
Very similar to that.
Yeah.
They have a lot of similarities.
Yeah. But, it's just this, we got to get that different mindset.
Yes.
I'm just telling you, it blows my mind after doing the research back when I was talking a couple weeks ago about anxiety and gratitude and how they can't live together in your brain.
To me, it's like Jesus and Satan living in the same place.
Yeah.
They won't.
Well, I was talking to a gentleman last night at the community service, a guy we both know really well, and he wouldn't care if I said his name. I'm not going to, but he has mightily struggled for about a year to the point where sometimes he couldn't get out of bed. Mm-hmm. And we were talking, he's been healed of it. He's come through it. He's on the other side of it. And we was talking last night, and I mentioned that. I said, as we're going for this sermon, I started saying all that, and he looked at me. He goes, "Huh, that's how I've been beating this. I didn't even realize it." And I said, I said, from all the research, just literally, I'm talking not biblical researchers say this is the best way to fight it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, what is important is it always talks about being thankful in the Bible, so it's a biblical way to fight it.
Well, even you think about like people, when Shannon battled cancer, and you go in there, they tell you,
no, it's huge.
Your attitude throughout this is going to make the difference. So if you're going to be negative,
you could live or die. You could talk yourself into living or dying.
I believe you 100%
yes,
can.
I do
and
too.
so if they tell you that, like someone that's got a negative attitude in it, and when I understand how you can get to a negative attitude, I understand why. But if you're going to start off with negative attitude, you're going to stay in a negative attitude, you're going to have less likely chance of healing. Mm-hmm. But those that are positive and are plus, they're I mean, this is statistics that they're healing. Their ability to heal is better. Yeah. And I'm like, that's nothing. They don't understand that as biblical.
Right. But it is. Yeah. That's funny when the secular world doesn't realize what they're saying is lined straight up with the Bible. But no, and I was talking to him last night, and I told him, during that research, I found that, and I said, actually, Tara, as part of her testimony, it's how she battled anxiety and got off of anxiety medicines and stuff by doing that. And she also started memorizing scripture and fighting it that way, which works great for her too. That works great for a lot of things, by the way, memorizing scripture. But anyways,
yes, it does.
But I was talking to him about it. He's like, I'm gonna work on that even more, because he said, I think that'll continue to help me. And I'm
one thing you can promise is it won't hurt you.
No,
I mean it can't hurt you.
No, it definitely changes the whole lifestyle. It's changed mine for sure.
But to go back to the scripture in Samuel 2, First Samuel 2.
Yeah,
it's verses 1 through 10 was the sermon based on, and so literally Hannah's prayer kind of just walks through a couple different categories, because it talks through a very personal side, where she's talking about She says, my. I mean, it literally, but it's okay because she's talking about my heart exalts the Lord.
Exalts the Lord.
My horn.
Exalted, yep.
You know, she's talking about that. My horn is exalted in the Lord, which is my strength. And my mouth speaks boldly against my enemies. But I think sometimes we take that twisted.
Oh, yeah.
Is we think, oh, well, we got to speak, against my enemies. So I'm going to talk bad about my enemies. Well, no, that's not what it means. It means you talk bold in the truth of Jesus. That's all your enemy needs to hear.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to talk about how bad your enemy is. Your character will show that.
Yeah, for sure. But no, and once again, this goes, I could have used this right here in her song of Thanksgiving because it's a prayer. And, look what she does first. She's literally glorifying the Lord for who he is. That's how she
100%,
starts.
100%.
And then, and then she's talking about exalted.
Very personal.
Yeah, and then it's thanking him. You know what I'm saying? Like
there's none but like you. There's only one holy God.
I mean, it's literally a beautiful. People ask me all the time, "How do I pray?" I'm like, it's in the Bible. It'll tell you. Like if you go through these steps, by the time you get to supplication, if you'll leave it for last,
which is what they get. This is the examples we get from Hannah and from Mary.
Yeah. Once you get to that supplication, you're like, man, I don't need what I thought I needed.
No, because all of a sudden you're like, huh,
my goodness, I'm blessed.
I have got more than I deserve. Thank you.
But no, it's a great place to look if you're wanting to look for how to kind of lay your prayer out, because it is, she's thanking him for who he is, thanking him for her salvation, rejoice in in your salvation. But that's for her. No one's holy like you, Lord. Like it's just a beautiful prayer of thanksgiving.
And because it starts off verse 1 and 2 very personal. Then you get publican 3 through 5, and 6 through 9 is really like, it's kind of this is the truth. This is what it's about.
Get serious. The Lord kills and makes alive.
I mean, it tells you the truth of, hey, some are rich, some are poor, some are low, some are exalted, and this is the truth. I mean, we see people that are in low spots and some that are in great spots. Yeah, and we know there are poor people. We know there are rich people. And I think that sometimes people get really skewed by rich and poor. Yes. And it kind of drives me crazy because I have people that say, well, people should never be rich. Well, no, I think that you've got your mindset wrong. Just because people are poor doesn't mean they love Jesus more than people that are rich. No. And I think that a lot of times, I think God's given me what I have because this is what I can handle. Oh, yeah. I believe that. Yeah. And if he wants me to have more, he'll find a way to get it to me because he's pretty good at that.
Yeah, he is. He kind of owns it all anyway.
He does. So if he wants me to have more, then he'll give me more. And what happens is that it'll put me in a place where I'll be around other people that I need to share the gospel with in that atmosphere. Yeah. So if I'm poor, then there's people that I'm supposed to share my wealth of relationship with Jesus, not wealth of money with people that are poor. Yes. And if I'm wealthy with money, then I'm supposed to share the wealth of my relationship with Jesus with people. And it's got to be basic around that. If everybody was poor, who's going to talk to the people that are wealthy? And if everybody was wealthy, who's going to talk to the poor? Yeah. And for 98% of us that are middle class, what's our excuse?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
And middle class means that you had somewhere to lay your head tonight, you ate food today, and you have the accessibility to clothes and showering. Yep. Not that you do them, right? But you have the accessibility to it. But which is pretty basic, but that's middle class.
Yeah, and it goes on there. It talks about kind of everything you're saying there. Honestly, she goes on to talk about it because brings down the low, and he also exalts. Raises up the poor from the dust, and so and that's what I mean. Like, it goes back to when I was talking about prayer. People, it says that God will fulfill your needs, not your wants. Yeah. And that's once you get to understanding the two differences there, it really helps your life too. It goes on. He lifts up the needy from the ash heap, and
then you'll realize that he fulfills things that you didn't even know you wanted. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I like it. Yeah. I didn't know I wanted it, but I like it.
And it goes on there. It says, make him set with nobles. Is that going to be here on earth, or is he looking future? Who knows? If you're a believer, 100%, we're all going to set with nobles because we're all going to be together at the same thing.
Absolutely.
So, you
and by then we can say, aren't we all?
Right. And inherit a seat of honor. To me, that's absolutely a future term.
Because to me, a seat of honor in the eyes of the Lord, that's a seat at his table. Yep. Right. And so, it boils down to and set the world on them. So, which all boils back to a relationship with Jesus. But I talked about it keeps his feet. It keeps the feet of his godly ones, which I think is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that he's protecting us in everything we do.
Yep.
But he also is pointing us and moving us.
Yes.
But then those that are wicked, they're silenced in the darkness. We can't worry about them.
Mm-hmm.
God's dealing with them.
Yes.
I can't waste my time worrying about the evil, so much so that I don't do what he's telling me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too many do.
Yes, I agree.
What happens if I do this and they do that? Well, it's okay. Like we said, worst thing that could happen to you,
yes.
if you're persecuted and killed, oh my goodness, you're with Jesus.
Yeah, we have no clue what persecution is to live for
Not
Jesus.
a clue.
No.
Not a clue in our country.
No,
we can say we do, but we don't.
We do not.
But the next part, for not by might shall man prevail.
Yeah,
that one really stood out to me because when I talked about that, I started thinking about all the things that we do in this world.
mm-hmm.
And men, we're terrible at this. I'm just going to own it for us. We're terrible at thinking that we can work hard enough to do things on our own.
Right.
We need God.
Yes.
We can't work hard enough to get ourselves into heaven. We can't work hard enough to know the Bible without studying it.
Right.
We can't. My strength can't prevail, but Jesus, as my strength,
right.
I will prevail.
Yeah. And that's the bad thing. A lot of people, a lot of men especially, think they can do enough or be strong enough or be good enough,
mm-hmm.
and you can't. We can't.
No.
And
we're afraid to be weak.
Yeah. Psalms 33 there, 16 says, there is no king saved by a multitude of a host, and mighty men is not delivered by much strength. So I don't care how strong you are, it's not going to get you to heaven.
No. Well, the feeble gird on strength.
Exactly. So we literally have to humble ourselves.
Yes.
And once again, what's one of the biggest things in the whole Bible from the start was pride.
Yeah.
And what beats pride? Humbleness.
Humbleness. Every time.
Yeah. So you have to, and I think men are definitely the worst.
But here's what I do want you to realize, that don't be surprised if you're humble on this earth and you're beat up on.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's possible.
Yeah.
So I don't think that, physically in this world that you're going to win every time just because you're humble. You're going to suffer maybe.
Yeah.
But like we said, right now you're not suffering.
Right.
We don't have the excuse right now. The worst thing you may do is be embarrassed, which that's a problem that
mm-hmm.
we got to work through.
Yeah.
Because then that's a pride issue. Those who contend with the Lord will be shattered. Not will have a chance, but will be shattered.
Yeah.
It usually shattered twice.
And that kind of, you're talking, I think that's happened throughout history,
mm-hmm.
but that's definitely going to happen where I'm at in the history of the Bible, where we're getting ready to go in Revelation. Because, everybody's going to answer.
Yep.
And to me, the ones who contend against the Lord, they will definitely be shattered during that tribulation period.
Yeah.
The whole world's going to be shattered and shook, So I think that's, to me, but throughout history, I also think there's been people that have contended against the Lord.
Yes.
And they have been shattered.
Verse 10 is very Revelation.
Yeah, it is. It's very future,
Revelation.
but it's also, to me, you look at some of these terrible, have you killed him? Did you get him?
I missed him.
Stupid fly. To me also, though, you think about some of the people all throughout history, the Hitlers, you know what I'm saying? The people that thought they were going to rule and reign and do crazy things, they end up getting shattered or die.
Yeah.
The Hitlers, the Mussolinis, and so to me, this has happened all throughout history, but yeah, it's absolutely pointing towards a future period.
Yes. Which verse 10, when you look at it, it's talking about, will be shattered. Against them, he will thunder in the heavens.
Right.
So this is, this part here is the end game.
Yes.
But the verses 3 through 9 is the present time.
Yeah.
It's almost like okay, I'll give you all these chances throughout this time, and then 10.
Yeah, you're done.
It's a reckoning.
You're done.
You're done.
But in all honesty, though, how crazy, is Hannah's spot on prophecies here.
Oh,
I mean, really, be honest with you, because he will thunder in the heavens, the Lord will judge the ends of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So she clearly had learned that this stuff will happen someday.
Yeah, if you would have said Revelation to Hannah, she'd have been like,
"What are you talking about?
What's Revelation?
Who's John? What? Yeah,
right. This is long before that situation.
Yeah, and he'll exalt the horn of his anointed.
Right.
Once again,
this is very prophetic.
Yeah, very, very.
But also, you think about Hannah's faithfulness is ridiculously strong.
Oh yeah,
it's seriously strong. She's blessed with a child, and then blessed with other children.
Yeah.
But she's faithful. The moment she has this child, what's she do? She dedicates him back to the Lord.
Yeah.
Like, this is yours. You gave him me. You can have him back now.
Yeah.
He's yours. Whatever you want of him.
Whatever you want.
Which, how hard would that be? Because you don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you know some of the things the Lord's tested in the past.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, but no, it's a beautiful prayer. It is.
Very much
and it's
so.
set up just like, to me, like how we should pray. You know, you can look at Jesus kind of goes through that, how to pray. And
well, you had a great sermon about it one time, laying it out, and this is exactly the process.
It's another almost identical.
I don't think you didn't use this, did you?
No,
I would say you didn't use the scripture. I'm pretty sure you didn't.
No, I know I didn't, but it's like spot on.
It's spot on,
yeah,
because the Lord is consistent.
Yes, and that's the thing. You could go through a lot of stories and prayers in the Bible, and they're going to be set up that way.
Yes,
because we should. Like, it goes back to where we started this whole thing. You want to live this life, you start out every day, multiple times a day, wherever you're at, thanking him for whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you get to the, thanking him, adoring him, thanking him, both. I mean, those can be at the same time. But anyways, you get through all that, or you do that as you're going throughout the world or out on a walk. How can you not adore him out in his creation? It's beautiful.
Right.
And so you go through all those things, and then all of a sudden you start walking a life of thankfulness.
Yes.
And things start looking different. It's a whole different lifestyle.
Nothing happens without practice.
No.
And even our relationship with Jesus, we have to practice it.
Mm-hmm.
When I got married to Shayna, I had to practice being a good husband. I didn't just walk into being a good husband. I mean,
you didn't?
I know you did.
I did.
I've talked to Tara. She said you were like perfect from day one.
Day one was in 7th grade. By the way,
that'd be a lie, by the way.
I mean, we didn't get married in 7th grade, but I did ask her.
They are from middle of nowhere out here, so it's possible.
We're close to the Arkansas border. I'm joking.
Oh
about that.
Goodness!
I got
hilarious.
good friends from Arkansas.
Yeah. They've only been married for, never mind. I'm going to stop that and behave ourselves.
I got one good friend from Arkansas. He don't watch this, so.
Well, this will be the first one he watches. You see how that works. But, it's what I want everybody to come up with, and you too. I mean, you've kind of been working on it also, like I said, 2 weeks ago. Whatever.
Yeah, I've been on this thankfulness and gratitude, not just, but same thing.
It has to be the way we live our life.
Yeah.
And I was thankful last night for the opportunity to
it's
to
a
pray
lifestyle.
with some of our brothers from the community. I got to pray with a couple pastors. I got to pray with a couple of gentlemen, and I'm not going to share names. I won't ever do that.
Yeah.
But I had a couple people come up, and there was a common theme when everybody came up and would ask for prayer or would want me to pray with them. There wasn't anything wrong,
mm-hmm.
except for the fact that they weren't acknowledging the Lord in everything.
Right.
Which is wrong. I mean, you got to understand it, but it was almost like they realized that, which I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was a reminder of, hey, even when things are good, it's still God's.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't let that go to your head.
Honestly, I think that's probably where we are we need to work on the most.
Yeah.
And I'm talking in general, most Christians is still talking to him and still thanking him when things are good.
Yes. Which once again takes exercising it on a natural every single day, often.
It takes every day waking up with a different, like, first thing before your feet hit the floor, thinking that you woke up, and that kind of gets the ball rolling.
Yes.
For me, I guess I should say, for me, it gets the ball rolling. I wake up like, I'm getting old, so I wake up like 20 minutes before my alarm goes off. I'm getting to that age. Oh, yeah, I'm getting to that age. I don't get out of bed. But I sat there and I started praying, thanking him for stuff, praying for kids, wife, and all that. Sometimes I'll doze back off. That's okay.
Oh, yeah.
I've had people tell me, like, I hate it at night. I'll start praying. I go to sleep. I'm like,
best sleep you'll get, probably.
That's awesome. Like, don't be upset about that.
You went to sleep with the Lord on your mind.
So anyways, that's how I start my morning. And to me, it's helped start that gratitude step for the whole day. And don't get me wrong, there's many days I don't do it like I should.
Right.
But most of the time, I can tell when I don't.
Because the enemy is going to constantly be going at us like he did Job.
Oh, yeah.
He constantly wants to try to destroy situations and destroy what we have going on. But he can only destroy what we let him destroy.
Absolutely.
I mean, he can ruin my car, he can ruin my house, he can ruin my finances, but he can't destroy my heart.
Yeah.
Or what I believe. I have to give those up.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, it all comes back to the blood. You're covered by the blood of Christ.
Yeah.
And I am too. So that's one of the biggest steps to living a thankful life. once you realize that. And it's not a get out of jail free card. You're still supposed to be changed and move in the right direction.
Matter of fact, if you're using it as that, you
need to check
stop
it.
that now.
Yeah, need to check it because it is just a whole different. It's just understanding that and living through that changes everything.
Yeah. Well, it's been another great week.
Yeah.
This week's Thanksgiving. We are at Renovation Church. We're still doing Wednesday night normal ish. So the adults you guys are still doing your stuff over there. Yeah. Teens, the middle school and high school, we're having a pizza party. So
we've talked about bringing some food for the adults. So I don't know if we will. So if you watch this before then, there might be food. There might not.
If you bring food, there would be.
Yeah, we do. Potluck.
There will be pizza if you're a teen.
We'll just sneak over to the teens, get our piece of pizza, come back, have Bible study.
I have security. And then I don't know what Tina's doing. She always makes things awesome. She's so much better at this stuff than we are.
She does a good job with kids.
Yeah, she does. Appreciate her greatly. And just get involved in church. Yeah. Norwood, I'm not sure what Tucker's doing over there. They're having church. I just don't know what they're doing. Are they doing a worship night over there?
I'm not
sure.
He
told me.
Did he?
But I can't say that I've had so much on my mind lately.
He might be having a worship night since he's been gone.
I don't know. Slipped it.
He'll be open, though, I promise.
They'll have church.
They'll have church.
Unless there's nothing wrong with a good
It wouldn't
worship
surprise
night.
me if they're just having church.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but I don't know. But yeah, it'll be good. Go
be at church.
Yeah, somewhere.
And then we're back to normal going forward.
Yeah.
And we'll be I'm so excited. We got one more week and then we start Christmas music.
Oh,
I know you're
awesome.
He wants Christmas music on Christmas Day and that's it.
That's enough. Yep. No.
I've been listening to Christmas music for a month.
I've been very nice. I didn't talk about the decorations.
Yeah, go
Sunday.
ahead. I'll tag the ladies that decorated it.
They were beautiful.
He's growing. I'm super proud of you.
Beautiful.
Well, anyway, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Be thankful for what you have.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you need to be thankful for what you don't have, right?
Yep.
And maybe sit down and think about that stuff. But be at church Wednesday, Sunday. If you can't come to Renovation Church in either Mansfield or Norwood, find a church close to you. If you don't know where to go, reach out to Mansfield. We'll call us, and we'll help you find one near you that preaches the gospel. So we love you. We encourage you to press into the Lord and your relationship with Him. You guys have a blessed Thanksgiving.
See you guys.
God is always at work in you, restoring, renewing, and rebuilding. Thanks for listening to Renovation Conversations. Like and share, and we'll see you next time.